Hello everyone, welcome to OnyxEarth Tarot. Everything you need to know about me is in the description box below. Happy eclipse season, everybody, because yes, that is what we're dealing with right now. It's chaotic, it's a mess. But again, when is life not a mess, right? So I just want to look and see what you guys can expect for this eclipse season and the rest of the eclipses throughout the year, right? Like, what themes are you going to be dealing with in your lives, just general messages, and then we're going to touch on love and sex specifically, since I know you guys love those themes. Okay, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to let you pick your piles if you haven't already in the intro. Those images are moon images. So there is a golden moon, which is pile 1, there's a red moon, which is pile 2, and then there's like the traditional gray moon, which is pile 3. Okay, you can pick you can pick based on me verbalizing it. You can go back to the intro. A lot of you have already selected it in the thumbnail just based on it catching your attention. Either way, you can go ahead and jump over to your selection. All right, pile 1, if you selected the golden moon, orange, yellow, whatever color you associate with that moon that we have associated with your number, let's see what your themes are for this year and the eclipses that are happening, right? We want to see your life. We want to touch on love and sex as well towards the end, but we're going to get an overview. And you did have a jumper as soon as I began to shuffle. It fell face down, so it is something something that's going to be revealed, something that you're not going to see. Like, you're going to have a realization, right? You're going to have a revelation, but it's not going to hit you instantly. It's going to take time. It's probably going to hit you closer to the end of eclipse season, whichever portion of the year we're in, towards the end of the moon cycle, whatever phase that it's happening in, right? So the card is the World. Okay, and that's interesting for that to be, your first card. It's the end of the major arcana, the end of the Fool's journey. So it makes sense that you would have an epiphany during the eclipse season regarding your life, love, sex, any of those things, or all, right? Because those last two, love and sex, are also aspects of your life, right? It's just feeling like a cycle is coming to a close, which I know cliche, the tarot reader says a cycle is coming to a close, but there's genuinely something that you're finishing, something you're wrapping up so that you can move forward. Like, I would expect a lot of like, I'm gonna say the word finale, but like a lot of things just finalizing in your life during this eclipse season so that you can kind of begin new. Like, if there's something that you've been stuck with, if there's a situation you've been stuck in, whether it's a romantic situation, whether it's a career situation, whether it's a financial situation, I would expect it to feel even more stagnant throughout the eclipse season, simply because you're being pushed to close it out, right? Like, you're gonna start probably feeling a little bit trapped. You're probably gonna feel like you can't, like, that you don't see the light, you don't see a clear path. But that's just so that you can clear out all of the junk, right? So that you can face all of the aspects of whatever the circumstances are, whatever the situation is, so that you can move forward. Because at the end of the day, the universe is pushing you to stop repeating a cycle, right? The world is also a cycle. It's the closing of a cycle. You don't want to take past baggage into a new era, right? You don't want to keep doing the same thing, living the same life in different situations with different people in different circumstances, right? It just feels like you're constantly living the same trauma, if that makes sense. So you do have another card, which is the Chariot, and your second major arcana card. Okay, now that's also ruled by Cancer, so it could be themes surrounding Cancer. I mean, obviously when we talk about eclipses, it's usually solar or lunar, so maybe this is a lunar phase we're talking about specifically as it relates to you and your life. It could be fourth house themes of home, family, or ancestry, could be generational trauma, could be past life trauma, things of that nature. But with the world leading into the chariot, again, this is one of them. It's a very major, no pun intended, era of your life that you're leaving out of but also stepping into. And the chariot is also movement, right? It's motion. And I'm not gonna take it, but right now at the bottom we have the high priestess, which is Pisces energy. It's like the 12th house energy. So there are a lot of aspects of yourself that you haven't been facing, that you haven't been acknowledging, things that have been hidden that are going to surface during this eclipse season. And you're also going to again face it and propel forward with that chariot card, because I'm seeing really a lot of success coming into your life. And then you have the Three of Wands. So a lot of this is a long time coming, Pile One. It's a long time coming, because the Three of Wands is kind of like you kind of laid a foundation, and now you're looking ahead. You see where you're going, and I feel like you've been in that Three of Wands energy for quite some time. Like you've been in an energy of, I've done all that I can consciously do, right? There's a lot of subconscious baggage. There's this, there's that, there's external factors. But right now you're stepping into the energy. This eclipse season is gonna clear that path, right? Because you can see the Three of Wands, but you can't quite get to it. And after this eclipse season, I promise you, you're going to see movement towards it. Definitely so, because you have the Three of Swords. I know people think about pain and trauma. Yes, all of those things. But this is just pain and trauma that you're facing, that you're moving on from, moving past. It's also breaking that cycle, breaking whatever stagnation you've been in for this time. Okay, it's feeling like, and three may be a number of relevance for you. It may be a number of relevance for you, but it's also a number of cycles, right? It actually, three represents past, present, and future, right? So living in past trauma in the present, over fixating on the future instead of the present, right? Bringing past energy with you into the future, therefore you're repeating the cycle. That seems to be the energy you've been living. But like this eclipse season is calling for you to kind of put an end to that. And I know I keep repeating that message because it is something that's very important, it's very critical, it's very key to your advancement and where you want to be and who you want to be going forward. Because I do see that you're kind of you're in a situation, or you're in a period of life, for that would actually be a better phrase, where you have these thought patterns, you have these behaviors, you have these emotions, you have this anxiety that no longer fits, right? You have anxiety from past situations and you're anxious, but it doesn't apply to the present situation that you're in. It doesn't apply to where you're headed. Like, you know how people that may have not always had money, well, maybe you find a good job, or like you have some type of inheritance, and it's like you still have that lack mindset. You have that mindset of you're going to run out, even though you're not spending excessively or whatever. There's just this fear of what happens if I lose money or something like that, right? If you have baggage associated with connections, romantic or otherwise, you're waiting for people to constantly betray you, things like that, in situations where it's not really warranted. So let me pull from, I have 2 astrology based decks. Y'all, I don't know what happened. I lost my Moonology deck. I have no clue what happened to it. I really don't. And we have Venus. Maybe you lost something, because I did feel the need to share that I lost the Moonology deck. So I only have the 2 decks. But yeah, so if you lost something, maybe it will resurface, or maybe it's gone for good because you no longer need it, right? But yeah, you have Venus, which is give and receive love, find value, see beauty. And that makes sense because the scenarios that I gave you about baggage and trauma were both aligned with Venus, ironically enough, right? We talked about money, which is ruled by Venus. We talked about relationships, which is ruled by Venus. So maybe it could be one, the other, or both of those references that I just gave you about that trauma lingering where it no longer applies. Those will be heavy themes. Now, the good news is Venus being a key planet for you, whether it's, in I'm hearing synastry first instead of transits. So maybe there's a person or key people in your lives that are triggering your Venus placement, or signs affiliated with Venus in your chart. But there's also transits, right? Something about Venus is very critical for you, which is good, because again, Venus rules money, it rules love, it rules to some degree sex, it rules all of your pleasures, all of the things, your contracts, your relationships. So all of the trauma, all of the heartbreak, all of the baggage you have associated with, all of the visions of your life that you aspire to have in that Three of Wands, you're propelling forward in that Chariot card to all of those things associated with Venus. So that's beautiful. I love that a lot for you. I want to get one more, and then I'm going to pull from the other deck. So heavy Venus, mutable came through, and mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. You have surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. So again, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's talking about how you have to adapt. It talks about flexibility. It talks about releasing your fixed perspectives on life, on love, on money, whatever those things may be. You have very fixed energy that has to clear in that Three of Swords, that will clear with this eclipse season. Hopefully it's not too traumatic, but sometimes change can be chaotic. It can be traumatic because it forces you to move. You're not going to move when you're complacent, when you're comfortable, right? When you're fixed, there's no reason for you to move. So you have to be triggered in some way to act forward, and that typically is what happens during periods like eclipse season and whatnot. So let me pull from this other deck. But you're definitely being called to be more adaptive, more flexible, more outgoing, more understanding, more compassionate. I'm just throwing out keywords. Maybe you have keywords, maybe you're journaling, maybe you have a gratitude journal, but it just keywords are things that I'm hearing. It's like, I need to work on X, I need to act on Y, because I wasn't even going to say act, but there's something that you need to act on as well, part one. But the good thing is, the first card that came from this other deck is blessing moon, contentment. Now this is the dual meaning, okay? Contentment, right? Contentment, blessing moon. Now it means that lots of blessings, if you're open and receptive to them, are coming in for you related to this eclipse. Like, it's all positive, it's all good. Now in contentment, it talks about you being fixed, it talks about you being stagnant, but it also talks about you propelling forward to actually being able to enjoy your blessings, to actually find contentment. You know, you give me a very restless energy, power one, a very restless, anxious energy of never having peace, and you're being called to clear that so that you can fully experience life in the present, fully enjoy where you are in the present, fully enjoy all that you do have and all that you have to look forward to without those attachments to the past, right? I do see a lot of reflecting. Part of that healing of that trauma is going to be you acknowledging where you've been and how far you've come. So you may relive a lot of past trauma actively, as in like, just to remind you of your progress, right? Sometimes we get so caught up in going ahead, forward, step, that the only time we reflect on the trauma is when we're living it in the present, rather than reflecting on, okay, I was here, look at how far I've come, right? Like, you look at it from a pessimistic perspective versus an accomplishment. And you also have the flower moon, and that number 3 is back. So again, very relevant number for you, but it says bloom, and that's really what you're gonna do under this next eclipse season. And I didn't mean to say next, so maybe it's a combination. It's a duration throughout the year, right? Maybe 2022 is just a year where you really find contentment, bloom, and you bloom and you find pleasures. It's like, again, flower moon, it's very Venus based, like a lot of Venus based healing, Venus based energy for you, power one, for this eclipse season. So I love that so much for you. Let me start pulling from these love-based decks just to see specifically as it relates to love, because I'm not gonna lie, the Venus card lets me know that these are gonna be like some house themes, some seventh house themes. It's just feeling like, okay, again, fourth house because we have Cancer on the table. But it just, so things related with love, money, could be your career since we're talking about money, but specifically your relationship and energy and trauma associated with money, love, relationships, again, platonic, all of your relationships that you have, and just enjoyment and pleasure, right? And like, again, self-care, self-love, beauty, those are things for you. This eclipse season. And I paused because my card flipped itself mid-air as it jumped out of the deck as we talked about love, right? I'm pulling from the Romance Angel Oracle. You have, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And I love this card because it fell in reverse. So this is a really positive pile. Okay, pile one, you need to clap, because even if it is traumatic, even if there's a lot of crying, a lot of pain, a lot of purging, your eclipse season, like you're purging, like you may cry all night and wake up the next morning and feeling great, okay? Because it's trauma that's releasing so that you can fully see where you are and what you have in the present. Because pay attention to the red flags shows that you may be a little paranoid. You may, feel like you're in more of a negative situation than you are in. You may be overly suspicious of friends and potential love interests. It's like there are no, like you're kind of creating red flags where there are none, and like you're being told to bloom and explore and be very open and passionate. Again, we talk about love and sex. This pile is being encouraged probably to open up and have sex if you've been celibate for some time or whatnot, because it's saying that you're kind of guarded in a way that you don't need to be, especially since you have bloom and mutable right here, along with that pay attention to the red flags in reverse. I want to pull one more from that deck. And I want to say that You Deserve Love is at the bottom, but I want to pull another one. So just so you know, like, and, oh, okay. What is this? That's too many. That's too many. And it's like 3 of them. We don't need 3. Let's see. One more. Okay. So I said one more and I got 2 more. So whatever. And we're going to take the bottom because it's very relevant to the 2 that flew out. So you have let go of control issues, and I feel like that has been an underlying theme of this pile. It says allow the situation to unfold naturally. So if you've been trying to control a situation, whether it's your financial situation, your career, love life, overly plan things, let it happen organically. There's no red flags. Let go of control issues, especially if we're talking about a specific person or a specific situation, a specific connection. You have chemistry. It says there's a strong magnetic attraction here. That person, or if someone is coming in, it feels like something that you've already attached to. One, I'm not gonna lie, whether it's again a friendship, like a friendship you're trying, any type of relationship you're trying to establish or progress. At the bottom you have keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. That word expectation stands out to me. You cannot control everything, hence why you have the mutable card. You have contentment, you have bloom. You're being called to grow this eclipse season. You're being called to broaden your horizon, broaden your perspective, right? Expand your perspective, keep an open mind. So again, when people don't behave the way that you want them to, or if situations don't unfold the way that you expect them to, you plan them to, you want them to, it's not a red flag. It doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that you don't get to nitpick and control every single aspect of your life like that. Like you don't get to control every single aspect of every single day of every single situation, right? And you definitely can't control other people and how they respond. Also, again, whether it's a situation or a person, it is working, and it's working exactly as it needs to. It's working exactly as it needs to with you. Is the situation or the person is extremely compatible with you. You just have to be open to what you need versus what you want, right? What you're asking for, or whatever it is that you're feeling like you're not getting in the situation, you're not getting it because it's not what you need, if that makes sense, right? So I don't know if whether it's attention, whether it's money. Maybe right now you don't need more money. I mean, I know people are like, don't need more money, you could always use more money. Right now your focus should be on something else. Like right now, you need something else that you're neglecting. There's another aspect of yourself that's being neglected because you're fixated on whether it's money or this other person's time, or you know what I mean, things like that. There's just something that you're being taught right now, right? Your control issues, for one. You're being taught that you can't control everything. So let me pull from this deck and see what else. But again, this applies to relationships, situations, and all of those things. What is this? I'm going to take just this one card in the bottom because it's a lot of messages. So we're talking about love. We're talking about you being open to not that we're talking about love specifically. We're talking about a connection where you don't get to control how it happens, how it unfolds, how you engage this person, how this person interacts with you. And being open to this person's needs and how they react to you, right? It's not that this person isn't compatible with you. They're just different from what you thought you'd be compatible with, right? Because you have deeper intimacy. So even though, maybe you have to have an open mind, you're trying to control things, you think that there are red flags because you're not getting exactly what you asked for in a person, this connection is deepening, right? And this is also a call to have deeper intimacy, one within yourself and with someone else. If we talked about that celibacy and you opening yourself up to more pleasures and whatnot, it says the feelings of emotional closeness and love allow you to feel safe, desired, and more connected to your partner. And maybe that's what you desire, a deeper intimacy. And it's gonna happen. It's just there may be delays as you deal with this past trauma, especially if you're projecting that baggage of past lovers, past connections, past situations onto this person. You have quality time, so you're going to get that, right? Quality time means putting away the phone and clearing your brain of anything distracting so you can to ensure that your partner is your number one focus. Okay? It's feeling like freedom, right? Mutable, open mind, quality time, deeper intimacy. It feels like freedom. And even that Three of Swords, for whatever reason, in this spread is reading like freedom, okay? But I definitely see sex for you, Power One. Can't say that it will be for everybody else, but you didn't even need sexual cards for me to tell you that sex is a huge theme for you within this period, okay? Getting comfortable with your sexuality, whether it's exploring a new partner, taking a connection to a deeper level with that deeper intimacy card, but it's feeling very pleasure, romantic, love based. It's not giving kink. It's not giving kink. It's giving love. It's giving intimacy. It's giving exploring a partner. Like it feels like that. So let me pull from this erotic sex oracle just to see if I can get a theme or two surrounding eclipse season. But yeah, definitely healing surrounding love and trauma and whatnot. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's not giving scandalous. It's not giving what's the word I'm looking for? Like I said earlier, kink. You have breaking rules and you have a nun, but it's in reverse. So it's like, okay, we're going to do things by the book. We're going to take our time. We're going to be patient with one another. At the bottom, you have sensual. So those are your themes around love and sex. Okay, very, very romantic, very sensual, very mature, easygoing, slow-paced energy. So if you want it fast, if you wanted it quick, that's not how it's going to happen this eclipse. Well, I mean, it may happen passionately, but it's not chaotic. Your love life this eclipse season is very smooth, like a slow burn. likely with a very specific person, because I don't see more than one connection of that nature, because you have deeper intimacy and quality time. I will see you will have to be more flexible with this person because they're different from what you expected, and you're not getting what you quote unquote feel like you're needing. And this could be a connection coming into, right? Like this could be someone you meet in the next couple of weeks, and maybe you're like excited because there's that immediate chemistry and sexual tension, and you're like, let's go, go, go. But this person's like, whoa, slow down. That could happen as well. So just bear in mind that you have that part of the reason why this is moving so slowly is because you do have that baggage to work through. And I don't want to say people have to be 100% healed before they deal with love and sex. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you're stepping into an era of life, Pile One, where you're kind of holding yourself back, and there's very specific trauma that you need to address, lest it hold you back financially, in your career, and in your love life. Like there's specific themes you have to address. You don't have to be completely healed, but there are some aspects of you right now that are stopping you from progressing, okay? So that is all I have for you today, Pile One. Hopefully this resonated. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, Pile 2, if you selected the red moon, and I keep wanting to call it a blood moon, so could be because it's red, could be relevant for some other reason. Let me know in the comments, but this is your reading. Again, we're looking at your general life. Lots of energy here. I'm going to pick these cards up, but I'm not taking them because it's like 6 of them, and I really only want 3. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to be looking at just your general life, what's going on, and we're going to tap into love and sex specifically as well towards the end, just to see what's going on for you guys eclipse season. It could be current, like real time as I'm uploading this, or it could be later in the year, as there are lots of eclipses this year, right? So let me see, Pile 2, what's going on eclipse season for you. I think it's interesting. And the card that came out is interesting, but a card that peeked its head and popped back in was 8 of Pentacles. So some of you are specifically asking about something you've been laboring on very diligently, working very hard on, or you may be asking about your job or career. But the first card you have is the moon, which interesting, right? Eclipse season and we have the moon. This is Pisces energy. I do sometimes read it as Cancer, since you know astrology, right? And the moon talks about mysteries. If you wanted to pick Pile 1, I would not be mad. It would make sense. It's a similar underlying energy, right? Which makes sense because that's what eclipses do, right? That's how the planets move and that's how they affect us. But it's an emotional situation. It's a subconscious energy. It's themes that are being revealed, themes that have been hidden. It's like shadow work. It feels like heavy themes of shadow work. So let me see what this card is. Again, 7 of Swords. I did not know that was the other card, but again, shadow work, aspects of yourself that have been hidden. If people have been working in the shadows, whether to manipulate you, whether to influence you or your life, whether it's just people being sneaky, doing things behind your back, it could be positive, it could be negative. It's giving 12th house energy, which makes sense because we do have Pisces, the ruler of the 12th house, that moon card on the table. Anything that has been happening in the dark is going to come to light. So I love that for you, even if it feels scary. And then again, at the bottom, and I'm not going to take it, it's a 10 of Wands. So whatever you've been working extra hard, overexerting your energy, there's going to be clarity by the end of the eclipse season. There's going to be I'm hearing the word revelation, but also resolution come the end of that season. So again, a lot of sneaky energy that's been going on. It's going to be taken care of by the end of the eclipse season that you're referencing. And again, we are looking at 2022, but if some of you may get creative and look at this in 3 years, I don't know. However it applies to you, take these messages as they find you and as they resonate. Some of you may be highly psychic, and you may be called to this reading well beyond its quote unquote expiration date, but it may be a message for you. So again, I feel like you're very intuitive and whatnot on your own if you're not outright psychic. Some of you are going to learn that you are in fact psychic, or develop psychically during eclipse season. But what I wanted to say, I know you guys love that love and sex energy. This is some sneaky energy. So some of you that have suspicions about a partner or a love interest, it's going to be confirmed. Like, you're going to get the clarity you're seeking, right? But here, some of you kind of got like a little boo thing on the side, like oh, no, I didn't mean the side, I didn't mean third party, but some of you may be scandalous. Gotcha. Some of you have like, somebody that you're dealing with in secret, just private, little passionate affair just between the two of you. Those of you that are not scandalous, it's just between the two of you. You're keeping your business under wraps to yourself. I see that throughout this eclipse season. I see that evolving, and I see you two kind of really getting it in privately. And we do have the devil card at the bottom, so it is some sneaky kind of taboo energy surrounding this pile, especially as it relates to love and sex, right? But let me see what's going on in your life. Definitely some clarity. Look at the moon on this card. The Two of Swords. Look at that blindfold. Now this card came out in reverse. So we're not in this confused, don't know how to move, stuck, afraid to make a decision energy. We are absolutely making a decision come the end of eclipse season, whatever that decision is. And you do have the Three of Wands at the bottom. I don't want to take it, but because I'm called to clarify that Seven of Swords, Two of Swords energy, but there's going to be clarity, right? Regarding a long-term situation, regarding your future, where you see yourself, where you want to be. You have the Wheel of Fortune, the number 10. And that's what's clarifying this, right? Luck is going to change. So every dog has its day. I'm hearing the words. At the bottom, you have the Knight of Cups. So if those of you that were hoping to advance a romantic connection, it is definitely going to progress in that way. And it's getting dark because the sun has set in the middle of your reading. Let me get some light going. We're back. And you can definitely see better. Now, it's interesting that the sun set right in the middle of your pile too. I think that's that may be symbolic, right? It feels like the sun is setting on a situation, or maybe it's talking about whatever you got going on in your love life. Like, it's kind of happening in the dark, like it happens at nighttime is when you two see each other, or you see this person or these people, if you're living your life free and single, without attachments. But I will say that the sun did begin to set. Now, well, I at least noticed it right when I started talking about this sneaky energy of what, every dog has its day was done in light. It comes to dark. That's the opposite of what I meant. Like, what comes to light, like whatever I said, I do believe that switch up of the words was intentional. Something about light in the dark, right? So it's almost like there's someone around you that thinks that they're moving in darkness, moving in silence, being manipulative in the shadows, but there's a huge spotlight on them that they don't realize exists, right? And I'm not saying that all of you have somebody that's trying to like sabotage you, but those of you that do, it's again, every dog has its day, because with that Wheel of Fortune, it talks about a flipping of a tide, right? Whether it's you were in a bad situation that's going to become good, there's a situation that seemed too good to be true that will be revealed that it has been. It just depends on which side of the spectrum you're on, pile two, and how this energy is revealed, right? Like, if you have somebody that's giving you false promises about a romantic connection, and it feels like they're keeping you hidden in secret, and you haven't made a decision, well, you're gonna have the revelation of, of how they've been manipulating you, or whether it's someone you thought was a friend, right? It could be any situation, but flip it. Especially if there's some of you, it's very, very positive, right? It's a very, very positive. Like you have a hidden ally, a hidden friend, someone that's been looking out for you that you didn't realize it. And when you see this switch up of fortune, right? You've been feeling down. You're gonna see this energy switch. You're gonna see things improve drastically, and it's going to be revealed that you've had this support, or that you have support. But I definitely see some themes around love and sex surrounding you, because it's just very outright. But again, it's giving secrecy, it's giving love offer, but halfway, uncertainty. Yeah, there's a lot. We'll get to the love and sex in a little bit, just because there is this huge Pisces energy surrounding it. But I want to talk about these astrology based decks first, just so we can maybe get some clarity. I'm going to try to pull one from this deck, and then we'll pull from the other one. Let's see, how to eclipse season. What's it bringing? There's a lot of confusion surrounding you. You probably don't know who to trust. Eclipse season is definitely going to clear that up, because I feel so confused dealing with how to right now. And it's like you don't know what you're right from your left. Like you can't really think, and you're so foggy. And like I said, you definitely don't know who to trust. So let me get a card about eclipse season for pile 2. House 12. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. And karma is standing out, healing is standing out. Look at, again, right? I'm going to put it right on top of the moon like it should be. You may be a Pisces, you may have heavy Pisces placements. It's just, you may be dealing with the Pisces. It's just a lot of Pisces energy. And again, it doesn't have to be that you are. It could just be that you're super spiritual, super psychic, dealing with a lot of subconscious trauma, dealing with someone who has 12th house synastry with you, right? Because it's a lot. There's a lot of scenarios right now that we do not have the time to go through. Like I said, there's some of you that are dealing with someone that's leading you on. There's some of you that think someone's leading you on and they're not. There's some of you that just kind of living in this good secrecy with this good sex and this good like love affair that you're keeping private and enjoying it. Like there's a variation of you here, and just take how this energy is aligning with you, because I am trying to keep it general, to keep it not as long. It takes a long time to upload when I get too specific. So, but house 12 is very, very interesting. But I will say, if someone, again, that Wheel of Fortune is there for a reason. If someone has been, this is a season, eclipse season is a season of karma for you, right? Like, and it's surrounding the people. It's all about the people surrounding you. It's not just about your energy. Like it is, if you've been living your life right, you're gonna get that back. If you've been living your life wrong, you're gonna get that back. It is, but it feels like the people around you with that 7 of Swords, especially with that Knight of Cups as well. It's like people that have been moving in a manipulative, sneaky way towards you is going to be revealed, and it's almost like they're going to get their karma for that. If you have people that have been moving for the greater good to support you, that's going to be revealed, and you're going to kind of, I don't want to say you're going to see them thrive, but like you're going to realize that you have allies, if that makes sense. So let me pull one more from this deck to clarify, since it's just doubling down on the moon energy. I think it's interesting that you have the 12th house on top of the moon, okay? And the card that just came out is Virgo, and we talked about integrity, reverence, and service. I think I saw, was that the 8 of Pentacles, and then the 10 of Wands is like laboring energy. So if you've been laboring, if you've been overextending yourself to certain people, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work related, whether it's which again, that's 6th house energy of like day-to-day activities of work and service and donating time and energy, sacrificing yourself for other people. It's like martyr energy. If you've been doing that, then you're gonna see kind of your blessing from that. You're gonna learn how to stop doing that too. You're gonna address those issues that are making you overextend with those 12th house themes. Definitely so. So And I'm not going to take it, but you do have Chiron at the bottom, which is healing, inner hurt and heal, the wounded healer, that talks about overextending yourself. I mean, it doesn't talk about that, but with the spread, it talks about overextending yourself because you can feel other people's pain and whatnot, like very empathic energy, shows a lack of boundaries and whatnot. So let me pull from this other deck and just get more on that. But I do see you healing a lot from overextending energy, right? Laboring, working extra hard, people taking advantage of you, but you opening yourself up to that. Especially if you're like in hidden connections, secret love affairs, third party situations. And again, because Virgo rules the 6th house, it talks about like jobs and whatnot as well. And it does talk about your health, just like the 12th house is mental health. Like, it's health and wellness. That actually is the Virgo Pisces axis on the table. So huge themes on that 6th and 12th house axis for you come this eclipse season, pile 2. So again, those are going to be major themes, and not necessarily just that 6th 12th house axis. It's also going to be the Virgo Pisces axis in your chart. Okay, so themes surrounding those houses that are ruled by those signs, and the planets, right? Because everything connects. So let me see. I'm gonna get one card from here. What's this? New moon, new beginning, the number 1. Look at that dark moon, right? Lots of darkness, lots of shadow work with this pile. Lots of facing your shadow side, and it being reflected to you from other people this eclipse season. And again, some kinky sex on the down low. I want to pull one more card from this deck before I get specifically into romance, because a lot of you, this is work or romance based, and the card just like rolled away, like rolled across. Okay. Waxing gibbous focus. So that's that clarity. That's that energy of clarity. Come the end of eclipse season, you're going to see clarity. You're going to really understand the who, what, when, where, why, and how. You're going to be paying attention. This confusing energy surrounding you right now of not knowing who to trust, not knowing how to move, not remembering things, not knowing your right from your left, again, like I said, that's going to go away, right? That's going to go away come the end of eclipse season, whether, again, the beginning part of the year, the end of the year. And also, if it's mental health, you lack focus, like, I'm telling you, you're going to be fine, because I do feel like you kind of running yourself into the ground, whether it's stressing over a connection, stressing over a job, stressing over whatever situation, and it's affecting your health, mental health, possibly physical health as well, because again, that's Virgo energy of the 6th house. So you're going to be very rejuvenated with that new moon energy, that new beginning, refreshed with that focus card, like the tides will turn in the Wheel of Fortune. New opportunities, new adventures, new passions in the Knight of Cups. So I do see that. I do see that happening for you. Things turning around in a positive way. Your health improving, your mentality improving, your overall energy improving. So let me see what's going on with love specifically for you. Okay, pile 2. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. That Knight of Cups. What did I say? That energy of finding passion for life, finding passion for love, just enjoying things. At the bottom, you have playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Okay, so that's what this eclipse season is going to bring for you. Like I said, shadow work, but fun. Like, right? Fun. Maybe that's part of the kink. It's that secret connection that you're in where you're not really letting other people into your business. Like, you're passionate, you're like playful, you may be role playing, like you may pretend you don't know each other in public, like you may pretend you're not as close as you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like that secret affair energy, whether it's actually scandalous or if that's just the kink you two have where you're pretending that it's scandalous. That passionate, playful type of love affair of sex. And I feel like with these themes, it's going to be very deep merging of a soul's type of energy, whether it's a serious connection or not, right? It's just going to be that deeply passionate of a romantic encounter or of sex, because it just feels like it's going to heal you. It's going to open you up. You're going to be able to focus. Your skin's going to be glowing. You're going to be looking good. Like, it just feels like whatever this romantic energy is coming in for you after, during, as a result of this eclipse season, it's fun. It makes you happy, and people will be able to tell because you're going to be looking and feeling amazing. So let me pull from this love base deck, and then I'm going to get an overall sexual energy, even though I feel like it came through on its own. Let's see. How to love and sex for the eclipse season. That's interesting. Definitely wanted to pick pile 1. That's okay if you did. You have security. So any issues with security you have will come to light. But again, come on. What is yours will always be yours. This love is secured by the divine. Very, very passionate energy. Very, it's giving like holding each other tight through sex, during, before, and after, clinging to someone, being very sure about a connection, whether it's casual, whether it's a full-fledged, you know, like love affair, like a relationship. It just feels like you're going to be very secure in your role with this person, very secure in the connection, whatever the nature of the connection is, right? And you have make a move. Okay, the time is now. Someone is planning to take action, or it's time for you to make the move. That's that Knight of Cups coming in. So if you had questions about a specific person and whether or not the hidden feelings would be revealed, or whether or not this person that's been, you know, you've been kind of privately dealing with is going to progress the connection, I definitely see it, especially since at the bottom you have quality time. Quality time means putting away the phone and clearing your brain of anything distracting so you can, to ensure that your partner is your number one focus. And that was in pile 1 as well. So if you were there, that is okay. Welcome. I hope you're getting the messages you're seeking here. So let me but definitely, if this is someone that you have not had sex with, or someone that you want to have sex with, or you are hoping that you have sex with someone at some point around the energy of the eclipse, this is your confirmation that it is possible, and that, you know, this person may make that move, or that you should, you know, take your shot as well. So let me pull from this Erotic Sex Oracle. I just want to get one underlying. So maybe it's an over under energy of who's on top. Like a lot, again, really playful energy. Yep, exactly. That's the energy of eclipse season for you. Look at that intense affair. So very, very passionate. You have passion, you have playfulness, quality time, security, you've got intense affair, and at the bottom you have gentle, loving, very, very loving, delicate, fun. Again, you're going to be looking good, feeling good, having sex. If you have sex, again, it's free will and all of that. But if sex is something you were wondering about, like this person, if you have sex with them, if you're open to it, if they're open to it, if someone comes in of this nature, right, with that Knight of Cups energy, it's going to make you feel good, right? It's going to bring you passion. You're going to be feeling very passionate, not just about this person and these experiences, but about your life again, because I feel like you've been kind of all work, no play, Patu, and it's definitely going to lighten your energy come this eclipse season. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Hopefully this resonated. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, pile 3, if you selected the traditional gray moon, the full moon, this is your reading. So we're looking to see your life, just what's going on this eclipse season in 2022, whether it's current in real time as I'm uploading this, or if this is later in the year. There's a couple of more eclipses throughout this year that you could be looking at this in reference to. And at the end, we're going to pull based on love specifically and romance. And just like that, you've got 3 cards that came out for you. No hesitation, even though that's what you've been doing at least this year so far. Because at the bottom of the deck, you have the 8 of Swords. Look at all of that hesitation and holding yourself back that you've been doing. I am knocking the table. So maybe it's time for you to shake the table, okay? You have Knight of Wands that came rushing out of the deck immediately first, okay? Very passionate, chasing, go-getter energy that you're going to be stepping into as a result of this eclipse season. If you notice that you have sudden burst of energy, like a sudden burst of energy, this is why. Like, you're being called to step out of that 8 of Swords and you're being called to move, okay? Whatever that situation is, whether it is a hurt career, whether it's love, whether it's just life, enjoying life, you have that Queen of Pentacles energy. Look at how receptive and stable this queen is. Like, I wanted to say stable. There's a peacock that may be relevant to you. You know, are those cherry blossoms? It may be, I don't know the flower, I'm not that familiar with it, but that Queen of Pentacles is a very receptive to the material plane individual. It's not gender specific, it is simply the receptive aspect of the physical plane, right? Receiving, right? It's like manifesting and being open to receiving those blessings. And then you have the 4 of Wands, which is like a new, it's traditionally a married couple entering a new home. So some of you may get married and or engaged throughout this season, or in a serious commitment, or move in with a partner, or move into a new home, or start a new job, something fresh. It's something fresh. It's a new comfortable beginning. Like, it's a newfound stability. It's like, okay, here we are. This is the result of where we've been, right? Like, we're going to enter this new journey together, but in entering this new journey, it's the result of something that was I don't want to say determined, but that we are already kind of established in advance. So I want to pull, and I know I just kind of brushed over that quickly. I do want to pull from this astrology deck, but I'm just saying, like, that's your energy of moving quickly. It's no hesitation. We're not dwelling on these cards. We're not dwelling on the general message. It's moving, building, being receptive, taking that next step. Like, no hesitating anymore. That's what I'm hearing, whether we're talking about love, career, whether we're talking about a project you want to start, a hobby, whether you're being more active, whether you're being more social, whatever it is that you need to do, Pile 3, this is your confirmation that you have to start now. So I'm pulling from this astrology-based deck to see what's going on with you in your life this eclipse season, Pile 3. You may be a very traditional person, hence why you chose the traditional move. So the traditional moon, not move, but move is a word that is coming out for you, right? It's saying to move, right? But you chose the traditional moon, so you're a traditional individual. You like to do things by the book, very specific way, but you don't get to have that perfectionist energy anymore. You have, jumping out immediately, the House 2 card. Physical security, possessions, material value, self-worth. That's perfect with this Queen of Pentacles. Perfect with that Queen of Pentacles. That's Taurus energy, okay? So you may have Taurus placements, or you may be dealing with someone with Taurus placements, since you have that Queen of Pentacles along with that House 2 energy. But again, that's also just you being very receptive to blessings, to stability, because the 4 of Wands is very stable. If you've been trying to buy a home, or find a home, or find your own place to live, whatever a home is to you, it could be an apartment, right? Anything of a home to purchase, or a car, or something physical that you need to buy and own that you would have needed to save for, like that investment of a home. eclipse season is going to give you some critical information regarding that and how you've been standing in your own way and how you've been holding yourself back. I do see a lot of you actively pursuing that. Some of you are actually going to see success in finding that home, in getting that apartment, right? But even if you don't, you're going to be able to see what's been stopping you all of this time from getting those things, right? From having all of that you desire. You have the Pluto transform. So here we have, and I know Pluto is a planet, it is not a sign, it's not a house, I understand that, but Pluto being very transformative, it is ruled by Scorpio, which rules the 8th house. So here we have that 2nd and 8th house axis on the table. So we can talk about inheritance, we can talk about debt, we can talk about assets, all of those things. You know, if you've been looking for a loan, you're going to see why you've been getting blocked for a loan. You may actually get one, or put yourself into position to be able to get one in the future, right? Aries is at the bottom. Aries is at the bottom. Look at that Knight of Wands. Aries, go-getter energy. It's very active, right? It says independence, bravery, passion, but independence. When I talk about having your own stuff, that Queen of Pentacles, those are themes coming in for you this eclipse season. And being secure in yourself, whether it's in your relationships, having your own foundation to stand on with or without a partner. Those are going to be themes that come up for you this eclipse season. But some of you may get an inheritance, may get that approval for a loan, may get what you need to create the foundation that you've been seeking. Okay, so I'm going to pull from this other deck that is astrology based. But yeah, that axis of money, right? 2nd, 8th house of security, of change, of transformation, of death and rebirth, of sex, right? 2 cards came out. That is Pisces, the psychic. And I wasn't going to take it in reverse, but I'm going to have to, because all of the cards, like the whole thing is just sitting like that. It's sitting in reverse. So we've got that Pisces energy coming through, the psychic of lacking clarity, lacking understanding, and you have waxing gibbous in reverse, which is also courage, which is showing a lacking. That's that 8 of Swords energy. And I wasn't taking the bottom, but that's what led to take them all in reverse. You have sharpened instincts in reverse. So it shows that there's a lack of clarity that is going to have to be addressed, right? There's things that you don't understand, pile 3, things that you haven't seen. I'm going to pull from this other deck. Your reading is way shorter than the other 2 so far. I want to see what it is you need to be sharpening your instincks and being more courageous and finding clarity about real quick with this other deck that I have before I hop into what's going on with your love. I mean, it could be love related, right? You do have the energy of sex here, but this is more about your money and finances for most of you, okay? And not necessarily just money and finances. Like as it relates to love, it could be money and finances related to, are you ready for a partner, right? A life partner and a family. So let's see. Huge loss energy, okay? Because you do have the 5 of Cups that came out. I want to get another one to see why. What is that you're lacking? There's something that you lost or you're feeling not good enough with. And you fear being taken advantage of. You have the, okay, alrighty. You fear being taken advantage of, pile 3. So you have major issues with security, with 2nd and 8th house themes. So you may have issues with intimacy and sex. You may have issues with like money, whether you have actual financial issues or perceived financial issues of like never having enough money, never feeling stable even when you are, hyper fixating on acquiring assets and whatnot. You have issues, right, with that 5 of Cups. You're always feeling lack, even though like you may hate spending money. things like that. You may hate being vulnerable with another person, especially, you know, someone you have feelings for, with that King of Cups. Like, you don't allow yourself to enjoy things fully because of those issues you have with security and intimacy and whatnot. So that's going to be huge themes for you, second and eighth house. You know, with that sun, maybe related to a solar eclipse that's happening this year. But you know, or you may have Leo placements, but it just, Leo placements and water placements as well. It's just feeling like yeah, you're gonna have to face all of the areas where you have trust issues regarding money, security, intimacy, and love, right? So let me pull for love, now that I'm seeing what's going on with you, holding yourself back from connections of all kinds and whatnot. This eclipse season is going to make you face that. It's going to make you address that. And it also shows that you're disillusioned as it relates to your connections as well. That's why you have these reversals. Where's that card, right? It shows courage, a lack of courage. You're not... like you don't have the like you're not sure, you're not certain, you don't have the nuance to know when you have a quality opportunity in front of you, whether it's regarding money, and an inheritance, or a potential investment, a potential love interest. Like, you don't have that nuance, you don't see it clearly because, you know, you have that fear stopping you. So let's see. I have a card here. Ooh. This is a very interesting pile 3. You got a lot that you're going to clear out, and I love it for you. It feels scary, but it's not. You have release your ex. It says the time has come to clear your energy. Like that past baggage, you may have wanted to select a different pile. At the bottom, you have pay attention to the red flags upright. The signs are cautioning you. So, so watch it, pile 3. I'll give you this. Okay. Before I get into the love, here we are. You're getting real messages here. Just be mindful of the way you move with your money and any risks you take financially, any assets you move this year around eclipse season. I could see it not quite working out in your favor, right? Like, if you feel like you need to not move on a certain risk financially, whatever it is, then don't, because if you're not sure, it's because you don't have all of the necessary information to make an informed decision. Okay, so don't make a huge investment that you're not sure about. That's what all of this confusion and lack of clarity is. It's gonna cost you. You're gonna take a loss if you don't know what it is you're doing, right? If you're not sure, right? If you lack the clarity, if you don't completely understand what you're getting into, it's not gonna work out. Okay, so just make sure that you don't do that, especially if it's a mistake that you made in the past, especially if you're making an emotional decision. Like, if you're making investments, like a financial commitment, a purchase based on emotion, then it's like, it looks like somebody possibly could get over on you, or you're gonna take a loss of some kind because you're making an emotional purchase, right? You're making an emotional investment instead of using logic and you know, making an educated decision. So, and that's what you're being warned as it relates to your money with that second and eighth house axis. Like, you could end up in debt, right? Now, romantic interest. You gotta let go of whatever trauma you have associated with your past love, and like whoever you've been with that has hurt you. You gotta let that go. You're going to let that go come this eclipse season, because it is holding you back. 8 of Swords. You're the red flag. Like, pay attention to the red flags. Like, you are a walking red flag. Like, you're propelling potential love interest that could be good people, right? Especially like if you have somebody that's super intuitive, psychic in reverse, like they're not going to engage you because they can see all of your baggage and that you're not really trying to work through it, if that makes sense. So definitely address whatever issues you have surrounding any trauma you have based on someone hurting you in the past or a connection that didn't work out. Make sure you're not projecting that onto new people that are coming in. But I also can see that you're gonna have to face that. And I could see you resisting with that Eight of Swords, having to face your trauma associated with intimacy and security. But this eclipse season is going to force you to face it, right? Force you to face it. Telepathy. Oh, you got the Psychic card. It's in reverse, but it's here, right? The Psychic card and telepathy. Pay attention to the telepathic messages that are being sent and received at this time. You've got pay attention twice. Listen, pile 3. Pay attention, all right? Pay attention to everything that's around you. Again, if you're not sure, take your time and research some more. Take your time, think on it more, ponder, reflect, because you need to be sharp. You need to pay attention this eclipse season, because there's a lot of disillusionment. There's a lot of confusion surrounding you and decisions you're making. But one thing that seems to be pretty clear is this romantic connection that is either coming in or that is existing, all right? Because that's like you have psychic, you have telepathy, like you two may feel each other's emotions, thoughts, you may be dreaming of one another with that Pisces energy. This person may be psychic, you may be psychic, but like this connection, it is definitely it's there. Like it's there, and it should be addressed. You're being called to address it, and it's actually forcing you to address your issues with intimacy and security, right? Whether we're talking about your issues with money, whether we're talking about your issues with love, or both. So it's funny because you seem to really be avoiding either this connection or just yourself. Most likely both, because this card came, I saw this card, this card was actually at the bottom when I pulled that telepathy card, but I said, no, I want another one. So when I pulled another one, it was this card in reverse, right? So it's ecstasy. It says, your partner elevates your mind, body, and soul. This feeling of pleasure is electrifying. And this is the potential of the connection. But again, Eight of Swords, resistance, right? Five of Cups, resistance. Not acknowledging it with that psychic in reverse, sharpened instincts in reverse. At the bottom, you have family and friends, and you do have the Four of Wands on the table, which shows that this is a person that is in or coming in that could be a lifelong partner, someone you could have security with, someone you could have intimacy with, start a family with. You have family and friends at the bottom. The support of family and friends may help strengthen this connection. So you do have some encouragement, whether it's from your friends, whether it's from your family, on pursuing this connection. Like you're being encouraged, you're being supported, but also it shows that this person could be a very good partner, a very good friend to you beyond romantic intimacy, okay? And because you have issues with intimacy, the sex did not come through in this pile very heavy, but I'm going to pull from the Erotic Sex Oracle deck to see your themes surrounding sex. I mean, you have a lot of healing to do around sex. Like if you have sex this eclipse season, pile 3, it may even trigger you. Like you just got a lot going on. I will admit, you have a lot going on. But sex could be good if it doesn't freak you out and trigger you. Like if you have some good sex with somebody this eclipse season, like I could see it triggering you and making you withdraw. Okay. Let me see, pile 3. What are your themes around sex this eclipse season? And it's hilarious because your two cards came out, and I don't know if you've heard them hit. I have a seashell under this table, and it's filled with change, and it literally landed on the coins. Like I have like quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, all of the, like it's full. Like if you don't hear the, yeah, that it landed on top of that. So the security, the stability of money, like something about money and finances and intimacy romantically ties in. But here we go with spiritual connection, spiritual connection. So you got psychic, you've got telepathy. Like this is a situation where this is a connection that is kind of faded. It is a deeply spiritual connection, and I could see it triggering you 100% when you have sex with this person, because I could see you doing it, right? And you have T's. So there's a lot of flirting right now. It doesn't seem like or when this connection comes in, it doesn't feel like feels like a lot of flirting, a lot of teasing without actually acting on the sexual tension. But I do see it happening surprisingly, right? You have booty call, which it may be a literal booty call, right? But I'm getting booty call is you're caught off guard. Like, you may end up having sex with this person in a situation or setting where you did not plan to. I'm not saying that you didn't want to. I'm saying that in a situation where you didn't plan, like the tension, the energetic pull is so intense that it ends up happening before you were fully ready, if that makes sense. Okay, so just watch it, move at your own pace, take the advice I gave you about those 2nd and 8th house themes. Okay, definitely watch that. Okay, so that is all I have for you today, pile 3. Hopefully this resonated. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.